Today we're going to be making these earrings, and they're out of paper. I don't know about you, but I have a ton of paper that I have from all the different techniques that I've done. What you see here is a National Geographic CitraSolv technique, but I also did Momigami with it, making it more like fabric. Here's a couple other pieces of Momigami, and then the original National Geographic image, and I printed it on my home printer on regular copy paper. Then we have Suminagashi. Suminagashi is a Japanese art of marbling paper where you float ink on top of the water, make a design, and then you take your paper and lay it on top of the water, and the design is absorbed by the paper. So let's get started and make some earrings out of paper. Besides the paper, there's a couple things that you might want to have at hand. First, you'll have your paper, of course, and then I have a pair of needle nose type pliers. I've got a pair of round nose pliers. I have a flat nose plier. I have a X-Acto knife, wire cutters, a ruler. I use a bone folder for my folds. I've got an 11/0 seed bead. I've got 2-inch head pins and 4mm jump rings. I've also got some glue, which I really won't need because of the style and way that we're going to build these earrings, but some people like to glue their origami bead together, but the head pin is really what's going to hold everything together. And then this Maker's Magic will protect and waterproof the earrings if you want to cover them for extra protection. So let's get started. This is the style of earring we're going to make today. I'm just going to show you one earring of each type of paper chosen. This right here are a total of 4 1 3/4 inch squares made out of Momigami paper. To show you the actual origami fold, I am going to show you the fold on a larger sheet of paper. This is a bead that I made earlier. It's some Suminagashi paper that I chose, and I'm just sliding it apart. And this piece of paper is a 3-inch square. To get started, you'll take your square and you have your pretty side and your plain side. First thing you're going to do, take the pretty side down, flip it over, fold it over to a triangle. Once you have your triangle, you're going to go ahead and open it up, turn your paper over, and now we're going to fold it over and make a rectangle. We're going to open it again, turn it, fold it in half, and make a rectangle. Open it again, and you'll notice you have these mountain folds here from your original, your first diagonal fold. That leaves us with these squares made by our rectangle fold. You're going to take the corner of that square and bring it to the center. It's a little easier if you turn it, then you can exactly see where you're folding, and take this corner over to the center. And now it's a little easy because I have it already pre-folded, but what you're going to do is it'll naturally fall into place. You have these that fold into the center, your diagonal fold, the original diagonal fold, they will fold into the center, and you want to make sure the corners of your squares are in the center, and you're going to bring it all together so that it looks like a boat, a little sailboat. Okay, you do that again on the second, and what makes the bead is when you slide them together. They have these slits. I'm taking one on either side. You've got pockets right here on your boat, right here, and that's where each of the sails will go. They'll slide right in, front and back. They'll slide right in together, nice and snug. This is where some people like to glue the flaps that go into the pocket. But with the earrings that we're making today, we have a head pin that will hold them together from each point. It'll hold it together in that fashion. So now that you've seen how it's done on the larger scale, let's go ahead and take some paper that we've already treated. This is Momigami paper, and the Momigami paper was done with the actual design is from a National Geographic technique that I did. So let's get started here. We're going to fold it in the diagonal format. See, it's going to be, the one thing about the Momigami paper you'll notice is that it doesn't accept the crease as much because it's already been processed, but it's okay, it still works, it works great. And then we open it up, and then we flip it over, and we're going to fold it over so that we have a rectangle. And I use a bone folder here to help make the crease. So we open it up, we turn it once around, fold it again, and open it up. So you find your diagonals right there, and we have a square here and a square here. And then what we're going to do is take that point into the center. We want to bring that up to the center, fold that down, and turn it, and bring the other to the center, fold it. There we go. Now this is where we start to pull it all together to make our sailboat. So we got this right here, and you want to make sure these little points down here all come in so that they're nice and tight. And there's our sailboat. So I'm going to go ahead and make the other one. Fold it in a diagonal with the not so pretty outside. Open it up, flip it over, fold it in half. Open it up, turn it, fold it once again to make a rectangle. Open it up, find my diagonals. Here they are right here. And I got my squares. Take the corner of the first square to the center, fold it down. Second square to the center. Fold it down. And now to make our sailboat. Find those right there. Okay, pull them in. Some are a little more difficult. You'll find it a little bit easier on paper that hasn't actually been processed like the Momigami, but it's still, these are beautiful when they're done. So I got my sailboat. Okay, we have that all complete. Now, to show you how they go together, we take our sails, and they're each going to slide into one of the pockets. You want to make sure the pocket is there. Goes into that pocket, and you slide it together. And here is your first earring. So now that we have our bead made, let's go ahead and make an earring out of it. We're going to take it apart. We'll take our bead apart. And the first thing we're going to want to know, which direction do we want our earring to go? Do we want these to match? What are the color combinations that you want them to be? I'm going to go ahead and do it like this. So this is going to be the bottom. And one of the tools I forgot to mention in the beginning is a needle. And what I'm going to do with the needle is find the center of my sailboat. And I'm going to poke a hole. Okay, we got the bottom here. And I'm going to do the same for the top bead. Find the center, which is real easy to find, and it doesn't take a whole lot to go ahead and get your center. And poke a hole. Okay, so we've got our hole in the top and in the bottom, and you're going to take a 2-inch head pin. A head pin is a piece of wire that has a head on the bottom. which will help prevent it from coming out through the bottom of your bead. So I like to add a little cushion, so I'm going to go ahead and add a seed bead to this. It will sit at the bottom, and I will take the bottom of my bead, there we go, and push everything back together. And you notice the head pin now is right in the center, and I have my bead and the head pin. I will then connect everything as we had done. Put these beads in there, and I want to make sure that the head pin comes through the hole that I made. Make sure all of my sails are tucked into the pockets. It can feel a little odd at first, but it's okay. It falls into place. Okay, so we've got our head pin all the way through from the bottom to the top, which will now hold everything in place. Except what I want you to see here is I didn't have alternating sails. And what happened is they aren't interlocking then. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is in the back and this is in the front with the head pin going through the top of it. So this comes over here, and there we go. We want them to each be interlocking. So that's good that that happened. There we go. Okay, so now that we have our head pin through our bead, I want to go ahead and I'm going to add 2 seed beads. Now this may fly around. They do fly around. There's one. And you'll find that this wants to kind of fall out, so I'm kind of careful to hold it. And let's see, yep, that one tried to fall off. So let's see if we can do this here. Seed beads are a little tricky. They're so tiny. There we go. Okay. Now that we have the seed beads on and the head pin in place and everything is connected, we're going to have to close this top so that we can add a jump ring and an earring. So I want my earring front to be this. I'm going to take and fold this at a 90-degree angle towards me. I'm going to take my small round nose pliers, and I'm going to roll this around and bring this around, turn it around, and we're going to roll this a little bit more. There we go. So that I have this little, it's almost like a keyhole opening, and then I'm going to trim off the edge, making sure to hold on to that little piece that just fell off. So we have now a little closing here, so we want to close that off. So our jump ring, well, actually we can just put our jump ring on and then close it up. So we're going to put a 4mm jump ring on and make sure that's there and close this tight so that nothing falls off. Okay, there we go. So now all we have to do is add our earring wire, and I've made a couple of those in advance, and for that you can see I have a video on how to make these earring wires on your own. There's 2 ways, one with an easy wire maker and then one by just using you know, your hands to make the earring wire. So I'm going to just open it a little bit, and here we go. And then we're going to just close that up, bring it straight forward, and then just round that closed, and you've got yourself an earring. Okay, so we've made our Momigami paper earring right here. Now let's move on to the Suminagashi paper that we made. This is, as I mentioned, the Japanese art of paper marbling, where you float ink on top of the water and then lay your paper on top, and the ink pattern is absorbed into your paper. So that's what we're going to work with now. And you'll notice it works a lot differently because of the style. The Momigami is a lot softer in texture. You're making it more fabric-like, whereas this is very much, you know, copier paper. So, okay, we've got our 1 3/4 inch squares, and now we're going to go ahead and make our diagonal. Remember, it's the not so pretty side out. And these are where you're going to want to crease it a little bit more because they've not been folded. And then we open it up and we turn it over, and we're going to make a rectangle. So fold it over, make a rectangle, do the bone folder, open it up, turn it, and we're going to make our rectangle corner to corner. There we go. Okay, so we have all our folds. Here is our diagonal. That leaves us with the square corners. And what we do with that is we take this corner and we fold it up into here. Fold this one up into here, not to cross over the center line, because that would make things a little more difficult when you try to make your sailboat. So there we go, we've got that, and it makes a shape like that. And then this is where we start to fold it in on itself to create our sailboat. And then there we go, and see how much easier that is? It's so much easier with the Suminagashi paper because it's not fabric-like. It has a little more body. So let's make the next one. We fold it over to the diagonal, pretty side to pretty side. Fold it up. There we go. There we go. Open it up, turn it over, and fold it in half. Now it is the not so pretty side to the not so pretty side. And we make our rectangle. Fold that. Open it up, turn it, make another rectangle. So you make like an X in the center with these rectangle folds. Got that, open it up. Now find our diagonal. There's our diagonal. We have our squares. Fold this over to the center. Fold this one over to the center. There we go. Then we make our little sailboat. There we go. So we have our sailboat made. There we go. And if you remember, you split them apart so that you have one sail on either side, making sure they go into the pockets. And they fit together really nice. Oops, a daisy. It's easy to miss. There we go. That was easy to fix. So we have a really cute bead. So let's make an earring out of this. So we'll just take it back apart. And what you're going to want to do is open it up and take a needle. And the goal is to find your center mark and make a hole. Okay. And with the other, you're going to do the same. Take your needle, find the center mark, make a hole. There we go. Okay, so I've decided this is going to be the bottom. I'll take my 2-inch head pin, put a seed bead on top of it if it doesn't go flying, which sometimes they do. They are hard at times to deal with. There we go. So I've got my seed bead on my head pin. From the bottom, I will go ahead and place, boy, it can be tricky. There we go. So now my head pin is in place and in the center. And what I'm going to do now is find the front that I want the front to be. Do I want that one or do I want that one? I think I'm going to go with that one. So the goal here, hold that in place and push this through to the hole that you made. And again, making sure that you alternate the sails, and each one needs to go into its appropriate pocket. Okay, let's see here. So there we go. So we've got those locked into place. Okay. And this will hold everything in place. And then let's see if we can do it this way again. I don't think we will. There's one. And that went flying. And there's two. Okay, so we've got now 2 seed beads on the top, 1 seed bead on the bottom. Now we need to close this loop up. I'm going to take and hold tightly. Make sure this is up snug against the bead. And I'm going to fold this forward. And bring the head pin around, all the way around, straightening it a little bit. Whoops-a-daisy. I'll trim that off. Now we have to close this off right here. We'll close this off with a round nose plier and then straighten it out. There we go. So now what we're going to do is attach our 4mm jump ring. They're tiny. So this is going to take a little bit of finessing, but I think we'll do fine. I've got a flat nose plier and I'm going to take on one side, hold it this way. You never want to spread them around and out. You want to take and go opposite directions so that they stay in shape. I'm going to take this plier, attach it, and then turn so that I have this opened as such. I'm going to attach that to my earring, bring my flat nose pliers back together, and bring it up here. It's tiny. And bring it back in place. So now we have our head pin in place, we have our seed beads in place, we have our 4mm jump ring in place. We can now attach the actual earring itself and just kind of roll that closed. There we go. We have another earring made. Here's our last earring. This again is printed on my home printer. It is of the National Geographic CitraSolv process without the Momigami. The original had the Momigami treatment done, and that makes it more of a fabric. So we're going to go ahead and start with our fold. We have our diagonal, which is the not so pretty side outside. Get my bone folder, close it up, and then we open it up, flip it over, and take the square and make a rectangle with the pretty side out. Bone folder, open it up, fold it again, There we go. And now that we have all of those folds in place, we have our squares, which we take the point to the center, bone folder. There we go, to the center. Once you get going, this can be rather quick. It goes rather quickly. And now that we know what we're doing, we could probably go ahead and make our hole right here. And there we go. So we have that taken care of. Now we go ahead and make our next piece of the bead diagonal. Flip it over, fold it over, open it up, turn, and fold, rectangle, and find our diagonal. There they are. And now we fold our squares into the center. Fold it into the center, and this is how it should look. And we start to fold it in on ourselves so that we make our little sailboat. And since we went ahead and made the hole there, we can do the hole there. Find our center, boop. Okay, so we've got that taken care of. Now decide how you want your earring to look. Is it going to be this direction or this direction? I kind of like this. So we're going to go, this is the top, this is the bottom. Get my head pin. I'm going to put the seed bead on, come to the bottom, find the hole that we made with our needle, bring it up. There we go. And take the top and make sure that it's going to go through where you got the hole in the center, and making sure that you have either side. Whoops, came right out. There we go. So that goes in that pocket, that goes in that pocket, and this goes in that pocket. So there we go. Bring them together. There we go. Okay. So we have the bead made. Time to add a seed bead. I'm always trying all different ways. Okay, so we've got one seed bead. Let's do another one. There we go. Another seed bead. Okay, so we have our earring made. Now we're going to go ahead and close this up. I'm going to bring this tight. I want that to be nice and snug. Bring it forward. And I'm going to take this snug here and fold it all the way over. There we go. Trim off the end. Straighten it up a little bit. And I gotta bring it around. There we go. Make sure it's closed up tight. It gets a lot easier as you start making your earrings. Lay that down there. Get my 4mm. Find the top where the opening is. And remember, you want to kind of twist away from each other to open, so it's nice and open. I don't know if you can see that. Put that on here. And we will close that up. There we go. We got that closed up. Grab our earring here. I'm going to twist it slightly. And here we go. Hook the earring on top. I'm going to straighten it out. Take my round nose pliers and roll it in. And we have another earring done. This one, there we go. Okay. So what we've done today is we've taken different types of paper that we've created. I've got Suminagashi paper, and I have different kinds of Momigami paper. I also utilized a printed sheet, just regular copy paper, and made 3 different types of earrings. I've got the Suminagashi, I've got the National Geographic CitraSolv, and then I have the Momigami. And these are the original earrings that started this all off. When I ended up with so much different paper, I wanted to make something. This could actually be a nice little pendant. So, I mean, it's unlimited, you know. You could actually, there's variations you could do. If you wanted to cover up this mid-center, you could take washi tape and put it over top. Or you could actually take a piece of paper and put it over top. So there's other designs that you could do. You could do totally contrasting. There's just so many different things that you can do with it. And then if you wanted to finish it off and make it waterproof, this is where you could add something like Maker's Magic. And this is a gloss, or you could do a matte finish, and it's waterproof sealer, and it's also a glue. So you could do something like that. It's similar to Mod Podge. There are a variety of sealants that you can use to protect all of your earrings. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing what you've done. Enjoy! The origami bead folding design was created by Michael LaFosse in this book, Origami Jewelry. Within the book, they've offered their designs copyright free. That's why I felt comfortable sharing the design with you. As they said, feel free to use it. And it's such a beautiful design and can make so many different types of jewelry. I hope you'll enjoy it. And if you want more designs, look at Origami Jewelry by LaFosse and Alexander.